Hello. Okay, I guess we're live. Well, so much for the intro playing me in. Okay. All right. You'll have that. All right. Hi, how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome, as always, to Front Porch Brunch, our little gathering where we get together on the weekend. We talk about the news, we give our views, we try and make sense out of this crazy thing that we call life. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you haven't done it yet, please do me some favors as always. Number one, if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please go ahead and do so. Number two, please make it a point to hit the thumbs up. Believe me, it really does help. We would really do appreciate that. And also, hit the bell for notifications. We want to make sure that you're always aware when things are going on here on the internet as we have them, such that we are right now. Anyhow, glad to have you guys here with us. And wait, go, hey, stop that, go away. Not ready for you yet. Okay, yeah, technical difficulties. Don't you just love them? Yes, boys, we are thumbsing up. Hopefully, everybody is going to be here. And okay. Let's see who all is in the house so far. Yes, gentlemen, we will start over on Rumble. Let me say hello to the OG Wingnuts. Let's see. WWG1 is here. TBA is here. Everybody has thumbs up so far. And I was trying to do something this morning to allow me to be able to bring your chat into StreamYard, but apparently my best laid plans are not quite working out the way I wanted. Oh, gee, there's a surprise. Darn it. Anyhow, but glad to have you boys here with us, and we know that others will be joining in soon. But as always, the OG Wingnuts, boom, boom, fist bumps to you boys. All right, let's see who is over on the YouTube side. Z Highness is in the house. Mwah. Love you, darling. Glad to have you here with us. One of my favorite crazy Canadians, Adam Worrell, is here. Good morning, sir. Good morning, lovely Lana. Mwah. And Adam, fist bump for you, sir. Let's see who else is here. The Duke is in the house. Chuck and Jake, Tweety Todd, and Tweedle Tapper. You know, those are some pretty good nicknames. I like that. That's pretty good. Pretty good indeed. And a fist bump to you, sir. Boom. Let's see. Gypsy's in the house, as always. Mwah. Good morning, my dear. Good morning. Good morning. Let's see who else might be here so far. Pate is in the house. Mwah. Good morning, darling. Glad to have you here. Oh my goodness, good crowd as always. Glad to have you guys here. Glad to have you all here. Oh my word. Oh my goodness, good to see you guys. Good to see you indeed. Indeed. All right. A couple of housekeeping items, and this first one's kind of serious. If you were here Wednesday night for the newsroom, one of our regulars, who has been with us for quite a while, up in Connecticut, UPINCT, that's her YouTube handle, came into chat, and I think from the sound of it, and Gypsy and I have both been trying to kind of discern what's going on. I think she may have recently suffered a health issue. We're not totally sure, but the way it was coming across, it almost acted like, because she had mentioned she'd been hospitalized, but the way she was typing, because I mean, up in Connecticut has been with me for quite a long time as a viewer, and it could very well be that she has recently suffered a stroke. So if you happen to think of it, go. She's out on Twitter. I mean, you know, same handle out on Twitter. I'm almost sure of that. Give me 1 second here. Now I will double check myself, but I'm almost sure I'm right about this. Do. Yeah. Her Twitter handle, now I'll drop it in chat. Do me a favor when you get a second. Drop her a note, and how you want to do it or what you want to say, I'll leave that up to you guys. But do me a favor and drop her a note and let her know that we are thinking of her. And you're thinking of her, because like I say, I don't have all the exact details of what's going on, and I'll send her a note as well. But if you happen to think of it, just send her a note and just let her know that we're thinking of her. And we're a little bit concerned. I mean, like I said, I've known her maybe a couple of years of having my channel, and very articulate, very smart, always able to make her points. But the way she was typing, oh, bless her heart, she just acted like somebody who'd recently suffered a stroke. So, and again, if I'm wrong, I'll be happy to be proven wrong. But just send her a note. Oh, okay. Well, maybe she just hasn't been back on Twitter for a while, or maybe she just hasn't seen him yet. Hopefully she will reply. But TBA says, "What is up with Up in Connecticut? I don't have a Twitter." Well, okay, fair enough. Well, I was just mentioning the fact she may have gone through a recent health issue. I'm guessing stroke. The way she was typing, the words were, yeah, and that's a good way to describe it, Lana. Her words were coming out jumbled, and normally she's not like that. Not at all. So yeah, if you happen to think of it, and again, if you don't have Twitter, I understand, but if you do, send her a note. Just let her know that we're a little bit worried about her. So so dear, if you are watching this, we love you, and Godspeed in your recovery from whatever it is that's going on. So just we're worried about you. So if you get the chance, or a family member can do it for you, just let us know what's going on, darling, because like I say, Fedora Nation is its own unique family on the internet, and we just want to make sure you're doing okay. We really do. Second housekeeping item, and WWG1, I might be reaching out to you because I think I've kind of reached the point where StreamYard and I are about to part company. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm still going to be doing live streams, but the manner in which I do it, it's kind of reached the point, due to absence of certain tech and certain technological issues with the tech I've got. It's kind of reached the point where I'm about ready to part company with StreamYard. And I mean, a lot of it has to do with just like little frustrations. And I'm starting to bone up now, or trying to, as much as like time will allow me, to move over to something called OBS. Now, for those of you who are into streaming and broadcasting over the internet, that sort of thing, there's usually two great competitors to each other. StreamYard is one, OBS is the other. Well, I like StreamYard because it's almost built for a guy like me who has little to no experience with live streaming. However, there are just certain frustrations. You just posted the landing page. No particular post. You need to click on the story and then post in the link bar. Oh, okay. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, sir. Okay, my apologies. Hang on one second here. Let me see if I can remedy that issue. Okay. I thought that are you talking about Up in Connecticut's Twitter, or are you talking about something else? WWG1. Okay, because I can click that link and I'm going straight to her Twitter page. But we'll see. StreamYard acts like a pay-to-win platform. I don't know if that's how I would describe it, Z Highness, but it's just becoming increasingly frustrating for me. Because I mean, for example, and this is just a minor thing. And I mean, a friend of mine knows how to do this. I don't. I haven't figured it out yet. But for live chats, right now, I can see you guys on YouTube and Twitter. Here's Rumble over here. I have to have a separate window opened up for Rumble to see, comments made by TBA or WWG1 or anybody else over on Rumble. And that is frustrating me. I'd like it all in one place. Supposedly there's a way to do that. I can't figure out how to do it. So, just kind of very irritating. So I might be reaching out to those who have experience with OBS. Hint, hint, WWG1. Might be reaching out to you with questions because I've got a feeling sometime this year I'm going to be transitioning away from StreamYard and going over to OBS to hopefully make this experience for you guys better. If nothing else, it's going to be better for the host. So we'll see what happens. Anywho, that's the housekeeping items. So let's get down to business with this wonderful little thing that we do on Saturday mornings. And I see that people are still filtering their way in. Glad to have you all here. Yeah, well, I'll take an IT expert. I'll take any help I can get. So yes. Oh, you want to get into this? Okay. Hadn't necessarily planned on it, but you know what? When my audience gives me a request, we're going to try and make that happen. So Duke, hang on. Let me jot myself a note here. Yeah, that old Joe did not cover himself in glory at all. He nor Jill. Morning, Ruben. Glad to have you here, sir. Good to have you here. Okay. All right. We will begin as we are wont to do with the merry memes. And as always, I have to thank certain people. WWG1 over on the Rumble side and Adam over on YouTube and Twitter. So, got a question for you guys. Or two of them, actually. You guys have heard about the new statue that has been placed in Times Square, right? That 12-foot statue recently unveiled. I think it was like Thursday, if I remember correctly. Well, I have one more question to ask you guys. What happens when you mix that statue, Letitia James, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man from the Ghostbuster movies? I'll ask it again. What happens when you mix that new 12-foot statue in Times Square, Letitia James, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man? Well, ladies and gentlemen, you kind of get the following, and that's not good. That's not good either. Where did you go? Wait a minute. Man, I had a perfect setup for that joke, and now it's just like gone. What happened here? Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Sorry, folks. You gotta love technical problems. Here we go. Yeah, this is what you get when you mix the 12-foot statue, the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and Letitia James. So, have at it, folks. Yes, Z Highness. I had the exact same reaction. Yeah. So, woo, buddy. Who chose the form of the destructor? That's great. That is absolutely great. Wrong in so many different ways. So many different ways. Oh my word. That's just terrible. Terrible, I say. So I got another question for you guys in that same vein. How do you show people that you're inconsistent without telling people you're inconsistent? Well, I don't know. I think this is a pretty good sign that I think this is what you call inconsistency and not having to tell people you're inconsistent. There you go. Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed. Now I will say this. I'll say this. They say that there is no such thing as the perfect woman. Wait a minute. Wait. Hang on a minute. Hold on, folks. What is going on here? Uh-oh. What the heck? Okay, now I see what you fellas are talking about. Oh, okay. Hang on. Hang on, folks. I just realized now what the boys are trying to tell me. So give me 1 second here. I've got to step out. Got to step out here real quick, and I got to add somebody in. Give me 1 moment. Do. Sorry about this, folks. Doing this on the fly. I thought this might happen. I didn't think it was going to. Okay. All right, fellas, give me a second here. Refresh that and see what happens. Over on Rumble, that thing ought to be working now. So it ought to be. Hoping that it's working. Hang on, folks. I'm trying to fix something on the fly. Aha. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, boys. I was trying a new thing over on Streamlabs, and apparently it totally screwed up. Ugh. Fortunately, I had already saved the server URL and the stream key just in case of this emergency. So no, don't WWG1, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry for the problem. Oh yes, it is a map on the wall. I appreciate that. No, WWG1, we're cool. I'm sorry about that, all good. Totally good. Okay. All right. Getting back to business. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway. All right. Let's get down to business. Let me do one more thing real fast, and then we'll get back to business here. See if... Okay. That's better. That's better. Okay. They say there is no such thing as the perfect woman. I, however, disagree with that statement, and I think I can prove why there is such a thing as the perfect woman. And as a matter of fact, folks, if you'll grant me a moment here, I'll prove to you why there is such a thing as the perfect woman, because, every so often you come across something like what we're about to watch. And, it is so refreshing to find a moment like this. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy this as much as I did listening to it. And we'll check it out in 3, 2, and 1.
I don't run to get ready for bikini season. I run so that in the year 2030, when I'm locked out of my electric car for having a bad social credit score, I can get outside the 15-minute city limits and escape the United Nations robocops that are after me for having a steak after I've reached my CO2 limit.
Fellas, those of you in the chat, you gentlemen who might be single, I don't know if that girl is attached yet or not, but if she's not, you need to do something about that, because this is your moment. I'm not saying, but I'm just a saying. There you go. There you go. Now, Mrs. TBA is jealous. WWG1 over on Rumble says, I don't want a woman who can run away from me. Oh, I tell you, the audience is lighting up about this. She's a keeper. Beast. That's great. Oh, you guys are awesome. Totally love it. Totally love it. Well, as y'all know, we have a new pope. And there are always so many things about the election of a new pontiff that I always find fascinating. And like, for example, this whole thing with the conclave and the smoke and all that stuff. I always find this really, really interesting. I mean, for example, what do they put in that? What do they put in that stove or oven or whatever it is that makes that white smoke so white? Seriously, have you ever wondered about this? How is it that that smoke that comes out of that chimney pipe at the top of the Sistine Chapel or whatever is so brightly white? How does that happen? I mean, seriously, I don't get it. Well, sometimes you find out little things that happen in these conclaves after the fact, and it could very well be that we've happened upon how it is that they are able to make that smoke appear quite the way it does. And I tell you what, folks, who knew that, frying bratwurst on an open grill could make this white smoke appear quite the way that it does? Now WWG1, not true. They do. It's not necessarily because they burn the ballots and add chemicals. No. No. I think the answer, truly, I think we've discovered what it is. These cardinals get together around some kind of an open grill, and they're cooking bratwurst. You might be right, sir. You might be right, but I'm just saying, I like my answer better. Oh, Lord, I tell you the truth. I'm awful. I'm just awful. Now, there is also another interesting thing about this recent election of the Pope, the new Pope, I should say, and that is everybody's wondering, because sometimes these ballots take forever, okay? Sometimes these ballots just it's just really kind of amazing. How is it that the College of Cardinals, which is a group of about 130 or 135 men from around the world, how is it that they got together so fast on this new pope? Because from what I understand, it only took them 4 ballots to get there, which by church standards, that's pretty quick. So what happened? Well, again, we were able to obtain pictures from inside the conclave, and it's kind of becoming obvious to everybody how it is that all these popes got so agreeable and so amenable to the idea of the election of this one man who's recently now been named pope. And I don't know about y'all guys, but some of that smoke coming out before we got the white was some of that smoke was kind of a strange greenish color. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying, Ooh, yeah. 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 You know, I thought one of those Cardinals looked real familiar when he was walking in. I'm just saying. Cardinal Snoop Dogg. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Gotta thank WWG1. Gotta thank Adam, as always, for these memes. They're always funny. And if you come across one that you think ought to be submitted for the Merry Meme section of the show, as always, please feel free to drop them in. We're glad to have them, and always appreciated. Always appreciated indeed. Okay. Let us get down to some news items and some discussion. And I really want to get your guys' take on some of this stuff. I've got to tee off right now on my least favorite figure in the conservative media, and that is James O'Keefe. Now let me before I start in on this rant, okay, I will freely confess that James O'Keefe over the years has done some really good and amazing things. Okay. For all the criticisms that he's gotten over the years, I think some of it is completely hypocritical, because if you get right down to it, O'Keefe is really no different than what 60 Minutes used to be back in the day when they had guys like Mike Wallace, Harry Reasoner, Morley Safer, and all those cats. I mean, O'Keefe is doing nothing more than what, groups like 60 Minutes or even today Dateline, etc. does. Okay. So O'Keefe has done a lot of good over the years. However, I have got to take exceptional issue with this latest round of videos that the O'Keefe Media Group has put out. And it's not so much that I object to the fact that he's doing it. I mean, he's got the right to do it. He's got the First Amendment backing him up. He has the absolute right to do it. He has the right to publish them. My primary beef with James O'Keefe over this whole thing is how sensationalized he's making this. Okay. Particularly on a subject that is very dear to some people. And when I say dear, I don't mean that. Let me kind of qualify that. What I mean is it's a subject that really is heartfelt to a lot of people because of the innocents that are involved in this and the desire to see people brought to justice. Okay. So that's what I mean by it's very dear to them. The subject matter in and of itself, in other words, what people are accused of doing, is absolutely disgusting. Okay. There's no doubt about that at all. Now, what I'm getting at is this. James O'Keefe has been teasing for weeks that he's got this big story that he's going dark. It's so scary for him that his life might be in danger. Alex Jones got roped into this, by saying that he's now the dead man switch, etc. and so on. So the other day, for those of you who may not have known about this, O'Keefe dropped the first video, which was a video of a man named James Bryan, who was a confidant of Prince Andrew. And in the upshot of the video is there are two claims that this guy, James Bryan, makes. Okay. That Prince Andrew lied to him about how much Prince Andrew was close to Jeffrey Epstein. And in the same video, the second claim that this guy makes is that Prince Andrew had sex with underage girls. Okay. Now, if you were here for Wednesday night, y'all know that I ranted about this already. Okay. And my rant was, gee, tell me something that we don't already know. Now, there are those in this audience, and y'all are just absolutely amazing at your ability to stay up on this information, to know about, I mean, and I'm not saying that in any kind of a taunt or a slight or a distraction or anything else. I genuinely mean it. The level of detail that you guys are so up on this story about is just amazing. But as a consumer of the news, even at a cursory level that I understand the Jeffrey Epstein story, you know, I'm sitting there watching what O'Keefe dropped the other night, and I'm like, what? What's the big deal here? Really? This is what you're hyping everybody about? And yeah, Lana, I agree with you completely here. He's getting dangerously close to being clickbait material. It's on a subject, frankly, that ought to be treated with the greatest of sensitivity. Okay? I mean, should the truth come out? Yes. Should the people involved with it, particularly the innocent, be treated with like the utmost care? Absolutely. Okay. And that's what's bugging me about this. So I say all that in the lead up to this. O'Keefe dropped another video the other day. Now, in all of this hullabaloo that O'Keefe has been swirling around, the name Pam Bondi keeps getting dropped. Okay. And people have their criticisms of Bondi already for a whole host of different reasons, which frankly, I'm not necessarily disagreeing with at this point. Okay. So O'Keefe drops this latest video, and I want to play it for you guys because I want your reaction to this. If you have seen it, I understand. If you haven't, here's something new for you, but I want to get your guys' take on this. So give me just a second to get this thing pulled up. And as always, give me a sound check. Let me know if our hamsters running the treadmill are working okay. But I'll stop this where I think is appropriate. But I want to get your guys' take on this. Now, here's his second big reveal video. Okay. Now, this runs about 2.5 minutes. Like I said, I'll break this up where I think is necessary. But do me a favor, check this out. Tell me what you guys think. And as always, give me a sound check. In 3, 2, here we go. Okay. All right. Saw that. No sound. All right. Give me a second here. The gremlins this morning are killing me. Just absolutely killing me. Okay. Hang on a second, folks. Let me see what I can do to remedy this. Oh well. TBA, hang on a minute. We'll see. We'll find out just how interesting this is. Nope, I got to do it this way. Here we go. Okay, this should fix it. Okay, as always, let me know if the sound's working. We're going to start this thing over again in 3, 2, 1, and...
Yesterday, Attorney General of the United States Pam Bondi was at the White House and disclosed what she represented as brand new information in relation to Jeffrey Epstein, the existence of tens of thousands of videos featuring little children.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, this is the first time an official has publicly acknowledged that videos of Epstein and his victims exist. What you may not know is just 9 days prior, the Attorney General had a very similar conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant.
Okay. So that's the big setup. That's the big reveal. Pam Bondi had a conversation with a total stranger in a restaurant. Oh my God. Oh, James, my boy. Just, yeah. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's just see what this is. Let's hear it. So, okay, James, here you go.
Do you know when the Epstein files are going to get released?
We hope soon. The FBI has been.
Okay.
So,
Any dates?
no, you know what it is? There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids. So they have to go through every one.
In the past, officials have spoken about the, quote, mountain of evidence in the Epstein case, but they've never, previous to that moment, acknowledged on the existence of videos of, quote, little kids. Just a few days later, at 2 p.m. on May 1st, our reporter sent the AG's office the text of the recording. We asked why this detail had not been disclosed to the public, but was instead being told to a random stranger at a restaurant. The Attorney General used almost the exact same language as she did with the stranger in the restaurant, language that we shared with her press office.
There are tons and thousands of videos.
Yeah.
And it's all with little kids.
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child porn.
Now, we hesitate.
Okay, now wait a minute. Hang on now. Hold on a minute. Questions. I've got questions. Okay. Really? This is your gripe. She used almost the same language talking to a person at a restaurant than she did in this press availability outside the White House. TBA over on Rumble says, is that James sitting with her? No, I don't think so. The sound is of a woman's voice. So I think Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, is speaking with another woman. I don't think it was James O'Keefe himself. Look, conservatives run in the same circles. If it was James O'Keefe, she wouldn't be saying Jack Diddley, okay? Nothing would be coming out of that woman's mouth. All right? Well, and this is a really good point. What did she say there that's really all that shocking and sensitive? Okay. Now I will say this. I will give O'Keefe this point. I'll concede this much to him. He's got, and again, you guys follow this story way better than I do. So if I'm wrong, y'all set me straight. Okay. But I think O'Keefe does have a valid point. Up until Pam Bondi made that statement on May 7th about, the fact there's like videos with, we're talking child porn here. Nobody had heard about this. Now, again, if I'm wrong about that, please feel free to correct me. But if he's right, then this gets fairly interesting. All right. Okay. Here's Small Times chiming in. If there are tens of thousands of photos, videos, then I think the evidence of more than just one Epstein predator. Yeah, I agree with that. And WWG1 says, trace the Johns. If that turns out to be their favorite politician, maybe that will wake them up. Well, brother, I think that is what's going on here. And we'll get to that momentarily. All right, let's finish up this video and then get you guys' full thoughts on the rest of the whole deal. So with that, as always, let me know if we're having any technical issues. It's not like we don't have any of them this morning. Good God. Anyway, here we go.
Hesitated to publish this story, but believe, like we did yesterday, that the public has a right to know. And this one raises serious questions. On one hand, why did our country's highest law enforcement official share this information first, not with the American people, but with a self-described nanny at brunch? But more importantly, why was
Okay,
this
fair point. I could maybe give him that.
information held back in the first place? Does this show that a government apparatus is still working behind the scenes to protect powerful people involved in the scandal?
I think that's a yes.
Based upon the response to our Epstein story yesterday, it's clear that the American people want answers, and they want accountability.
Okay, now on that point, I will agree with him. All right, that's the end of the video. Again, I got various thoughts about this. I really do. First of all, I don't think that what O'Keefe is dropping is all that newsworthy. I really don't. I don't think that this is all that newsworthy. And matter of fact, I've got something here from one of the survivors of Epstein, and I'm going to play it for you. And I can understand exactly where she's coming from. Okay, I've got something here that was posted on Twitter, and I think it's worth playing. I really do, because this needs to be shown, and I understand exactly the sentiment that this girl's coming from. The young lady's name is Juliette Bryant. She's British. She is a survivor of Epstein. And like I said, I want to play this and get you guys' take on it. And of course it's not showing up yet. Oh, mother of God, the morning I'm having here. Hang on. There we go. That's better. All right. Folks, take a listen to this, because like I say, I think this is worth the discussion.
Hello, James O'Keefe. I hope you're feeling safer after the information you've released. Information that my friend Virginia Gettr released 8 years ago. She didn't just release the information, this happened to her and the courts ruled it in her favor. That yes, Prince Andrew was molesting underage girls. Why have you made everyone wait 7 days to hear information that everyone already knows? And pretending that you are in danger when the woman who actually released this information was found dead 2 weeks ago, my friend Virginia Gettr. How dare you exploit the death of an Epstein victim?
Okay, that's pretty powerful. And you know what? I can't disagree with a word of it. I'm sorry, I think she's right. Look, I understand how do I put this? The job of anybody in social media, whether it's a James O'Keefe or me or whoever, we're trying to, bring the most people, get the most eyes on our work, and we're trying to get people to, watch what we're doing and, put eyes on it, grow our audiences, etc. I get that. But in my book, there is a line that gets crossed between doing that and being exploitive. Now, this young lady brings up a perfectly valid point. And you guys have made this point to me, in the times that we've discussed this. Okay. This information that supposedly is all new and revelatory and shocking and this stuff's been out there for years. So to go back to the young lady's point, what the heck is, really? You're making people wait 7 days for this information, James O'Keefe, when, Epstein victims have been telling people this stuff for years, but nobody's been willing to listen? I'm sorry, I think her point is perfectly valid. Okay, fair enough. I can respect that. Very true. And this is a good point as well. They know everything. Do they want to go after them? I mean, it's like that great line from The Untouchables. Sean Connery looks at Kevin Costner and says, Everybody knows where the booze is, Mr. Ness. The only question is whether anybody wants to go after it. In this case, everybody knows where the corruption is. Or maybe it's better to say, everybody knows who's involved. Do they want to go after them? That's the question. TBA over on Rumble says, these exposure videos by James and Pam are not for you, Brian. It's for people who have never heard them in the first place. Okay, fair point. I think that's fair. Also, TBA goes on to say, I think this whole O'Keefe Media Group videos and the Pam Bondi lunch all part of a disclosure, the whole of which we haven't seen yet. Okay, that's fair too. Now, let's talk about that for a second. I think that's a very fair point, TBA. It could very well be that if O'Keefe has himself a genuine, honest-to-God bombshell, okay, which I'm not saying he doesn't. I mean, like I said, over the years, James O'Keefe has done some really good work. He really has. I'm not saying he hasn't. Okay. If he's got something and he's holding it in reserve, in other words, these first two videos are the setup, okay, all right, then I'm willing to give him a little bit of rope depending on what else he's got. But if everything else he's got is just like this, okay, to your point, TBA, yes, this is for people who don't know about it, haven't really heard about it, they haven't put things together. I'll grant you that. But for people who know about this story, we're all sitting here, I shouldn't say we, a lot of you guys are sitting here going, really? Really? TBA follows up on his point, says, if Trump had put this info out, none of the normies would believe him, so this info has to come from someone else closer to the people. Okay, fair enough. Salty Old Fart is over on Rumble this morning. Good morning, friends. People like O'Keefe are the reason for hung juries. These pedos aren't going to get justice in the court of public opinion. Fair, valid point. Salty Old Fart also follows up. Unless we are allowed to go full torches and pitchforks, releasing that info doesn't amount to a hill of beans to we the people. True. True indeed. Let's see what else. Lana says, yeah, but everyone has known for a long time that's true. But to quote from the movie The Law-Abiding Citizen, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove in court, what's admissible. Okay. Oh, this is a good point too. What's the statute of limitations on this stuff? Fair point. Oh, yeah, and the Diddy stuff is starting to heat up. That's for sure. Yeah, I saw that second video and I thought, you know what? I want to talk about this. I really do. Like I say, if James is setting something up for the really big thing he's got, okay, then I could give him some grace on this. But like I say, if all that he's got is basically information that's already been known for, 8 to 10 years, okay, what purpose is this serving other than you getting more eyes on your work? Which again, I can respect trying to do that. I mean, in my own little way with the time I've got, I try and grow this little channel as much as I can. But like I said, there's a line between doing that and just blatant sensationalism and abuse. And some of this is starting to border on that. Let's see. TBA says RICO cases take a while to put together so that it holds up in court. All right. Fair enough. All right. But anyway, thought I'd bring that one to y'all's attention and just get your guys' take on some of that. And I appreciate all the comments, by the way. You guys have absolutely been fantastic so far. And you're always fantastic, not just so far. You guys are absolutely awesome. So with that, we're going to shift gears and go to a different topic this morning. And before we do, let me do a real quick commercial. For those of you who have maybe found your way to this live stream and you're looking around going, who the heck is this guy in the hat and what the heck is he talking about? Well, introductions. My name is Brian Trippett. I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative. This live stream is known as Front Porch Brunch. We get together on the weekends to talk about the news. We kind of give our views on everything, see what's going on, et cetera, and so on. We've got people watching us over on Rumble, and always glad to have them there. We got people watching us over on YouTube. Always glad to have you there. Thank you guys so much for being with us this morning. As always, it's a pleasure to host you guys. And again, my thanks to you for suffering through my technical difficulties, such as they are. And believe me, I'm having more of them these days than I care to think about. But your patience and your love and your willingness to stay and watch the show is always appreciated. So if you're not a subscriber to the channel, please subscribe. Also, hit the bell for notifications. Hit the thumbs up this morning. Believe me, that hitting that thumbs up button is very important. It is greatly appreciated all the way around. So, with the good morning, my dear. Glad to have you in the house. Mwah. Kisses to you. WWG1 just sent me something. Hang on a second, folks. We will check this out real fast. Give me one moment here. Let me see what that madman has sent over. This is me, everyone, going to hunt memes for you. For you. Okay, I got to put this up. This is great. Now, let me just say, before I put this up, we love and appreciate WWG1's contributions every time he brings us a meme. But for those, well, that's just for me. Oh, okay. Well, I am not gee whiz. I am not ungrateful. It is always appreciated, but that is funny as all get out. I mean, sorry, folks, didn't mean to tease you. Yes, he does. He works very hard for these memes. So, oh my word. But that is funny. That is funny. Oh my goodness. Oh my good. Yeah, you know what? I think we are going to put this out here. Cause, well, I say we're going to put this out here as soon as. Yeah, I think you guys are going to appreciate this as much as I do, because it's quite the chuckle I get. So let me enlarge this just a hair, make it easier for you guys to read. Now this is intended for those who maybe do not appreciate WWG1's work, which daggone it, how can you not appreciate the work that this fine man puts in to bring these really fantastic memes? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. So, yeah, but for those of you out there who are not grateful for his work, first of all, shame on you. And second of all, this one's intended for you. So there you go. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. All right. Let us shift topics a little bit. And I want to talk about this. God, what's the best way to describe this? This food fight that's going. I shouldn't call it that. It's the quickest thing that comes to my mind. This is a good old-fashioned food fight between certain elements in the MAHA movement. Now, for those of you who are watching this live stream and maybe you're not familiar with the terminology, MAHA stands for Make America Healthy Again. This is the effort that is spearheaded right now by people like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and many others to try to help make the country a healthier place for our citizens. And by that, we're talking about the foods that we eat, the liquids that we consume, the stuff like that, chronic diseases, autism, etc. Well, there is a major kerfuffle inside the MAHA movement. And for those of you who have not watched this play out over the past couple 3 days, I've got to kind of set this up and take you back in time. Now, Originally, there was another individual who was nominated to be the Surgeon General of the United States. Okay. And this person, and the name is escaping me right now, so I apologize in advance. The name is escaping me. But this person, to a lot of the people in the MAGA movement, was just like, big on masks, vaccine mandates, lockdowns, etc. Okay. So not a good fit with the whole MAGA movement. Okay. Well, a funny thing happened when a lot of people celebrated this to be a upgrade over what we thought we were going to get. And with that, I present you with the following. And it is this. This is from Truth Social the other day, from Donald Trump's own Truth Social, and it reads like this. I am pleased to announce that Dr. Casey Means will be nominated as our next Surgeon General of the United States of America. Casey has impeccable MAHA credentials and will work closely with our wonderful Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., to ensure a successful implementation of our agenda in order to reverse the chronic disease epidemic and ensure great health in the future for all Americans. Her academic achievements, together with her life's work, are absolutely outstanding. Dr. Casey Means has the potential to be one of the finest Surgeon Generals in the United States history. Congratulations to Casey. Secretary Kennedy looks forward to working with Dr. Jeanette Nishwat, who was originally nominated, Jeanette Nishwat, in another capacity at HHS. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, like I said, when news of this initially broke, a lot of people were very happy about the upgrade. Okay. Oh, Gypsy, I saw your comment, darling, and we're going to get to that. We are going to get to that. Now, I say a lot of people were very happy with this new nomination, except the people that were not happy are people that when their opposition to it came out, everybody's kind of scratching their heads going, why is this person upset? Now, one of the biggest people who came out kind of scratching their head in opposition to this was Nicole Shanahan. Now, if you're not, or you don't remember anything about Nicole Shanahan was Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s vice presidential running mate when Kennedy was running as an independent. Well, she dropped a tweet the other day on social media, and, this definitely needs to be mentioned because it kind of sets up everything that's going on here. Nicole Shanahan drops the following. Yes, it's very strange. It doesn't make any sense. I was promised that if I supported RFK Jr. in his Senate confirmation, that neither of these siblings would be working under HHS. Now, when she says siblings, if the name Casey Means sounds familiar, there's Callie Means, who is also very close to RFK Jr. and working in a particular aspect of HHS for Robert Kennedy Jr. So going back to the tweet, or in an appointment, and that people much more qualified would be. Shanahan continues with her tweet. I don't know if RFK if he very clearly lied to me or what is going on. It has been clear in recent conversations that he is reporting to someone regularly who is controlling his decisions and that it isn't Donald Trump. With regard to the siblings, there is something very artificial and aggressive about them, almost like they were bred and raised Manchurian assets. Now, that's pretty heavy. That is pretty heavy indeed. You got, RFK Jr.'s former running mate and a very influential lady in the MAHA movement, just influential in general because of her outreach. She's like, hey, wait a minute. Whoa, 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 whoa. I was told neither Casey nor Callie Means would be anywhere near HHS. What the heck is going on here? Okay. Well, not only did Nicole Shanahan sound off about all this, the one person that you do not want, climbing your A-frame over something decided to weigh in on the whole matter. Laura Loomer. Now, folks, as a general rule of thumb in life, I always try to live peacefully. Therefore, I try to go out of my way not to make people mad at me, with an understanding that if I am going to make some people mad at me, there are certain people I definitely will never want them to be mad at me. And I will go ahead and tell all of you right now, Laura Loomer scares the living dog crap right out of me. Okay? I'll never cross paths with a woman. But what I'm getting at is this. This is one of those people in life, you do not want them on your bad side because they're going to climb your A-frame and check out every shingle on your roof. Okay? Especially when Loomer thinks she's got her teeth into something. Well, she has got her teeth into this. Okay? So I bring you the following tweet from Laura Loomer, one among many, by the way, where Laura Loomer says the following: Casey Means is another horrible Trump nomination and another example of the vetting crisis inside the Trump White House. Many of the Trump staff are doing him such a disservice by not vetting these appointments. It's embarrassing, truly embarrassing. I'm worried for POTUS. Now, that I said that's one among many tweets that she dropped. And let me tell you something. I'm not gonna sit here and go through everything she's tweeted about Dr. Casey Means, but let me tell you something. Loomer went on a tear. I mean, I will give you one example of something that she brought up. Just for the sake of, being a good and thorough host as much as I possibly can be. I've got a tweet here, and let me put this up here for you guys. I think that's up on the screen now. Yes, it is. Okay. The father of Casey Means, the new Trump-appointed U.S. Surgeon General, wrote a pro-trans children's book. Now, she's not saying that Casey Means did this. She's saying Casey's father did this. Casey Means never supported Donald Trump, and she doesn't even have an active medical license in Oregon where she says that she's a doctor. She's also allegedly never completed her residency. Her father, Grady Means, authored a book entitled The Adventures of Felix the Flamingo, which explores themes of gender dysphoria in children and teaches kids that it's okay to be trans. Like I said, there are a handful of people in social media that I never want to make mad at me, and Loomer is one of them. I mean, Loomer, because like I said, when she gets her teeth into something, she's got her teeth into it, and she's like a dog on a bone. She ain't letting go until she gets blood, or marrow in this case, to go with the analogy. But you get where I'm coming from in this, okay? Now, it's just the stuff that's coming out about this woman is just incredible. I got a snippet here from the LA Times, and Gypsy was gracious enough to send this over to me. I will pop this up here for you guys and let you have a look at it. And this is from an LA Times article. Dr. Paul Flint, a former chair of otolaryngology, head of neck and surgery at Oregon Health, and Science University, said Means resigned from her residency because of anxiety. After 4 years of training, Means came to him and Dr. Mark Wax, the resident program director, and said she wasn't sure if it was the right job for her. Holy cow. What the heck are we doing here? Now, look, like everybody else, I'm reading what I'm reading. Okay, you got two sides in this. The side that wanted to see somebody put in, and the side that got in, and there's a whole, I call it a food fight, because that's basically what this is. This is an internet food fight. Okay? And if it were just confined to the internet and had no implications for me or for you or anybody else in this audience or anybody watching this live stream, that'd be one thing, okay? But this is the Surgeon General of the United States. Granted, a symbolic position in one sense, okay, but still kind of an important big deal. Well, this thing has reached the point where Robert Kennedy is weighing in on it. I'm going to show you first his tweet where he said that, Casey Means is a superb choice, yada, yada, yada. And then I'm going to show you a snippet of an interview that RFK Jr. did with Brett Baer at Fox News. This is from RFK the other day off of his Twitter page. The Surgeon General is a symbol of moral authority who stands against the financial and institutional gravities that tend to corporatize medicine. Casey Means was born for this job. She will provide our country with ethical guidance, wisdom, and the gold standard medical advice, even when it challenges popular orthodoxies. She will be a juggernaut against ossified medical conventions that have helped make our people the sickest in the world and at the highest cost per capita. Casey is a breath of fresh air, and we can't wait for her to start at HHS. Thank you, Mr. President, for nominating this outstanding woman. Now, that's RFK Jr.'s tweet about the whole thing, okay, which fine. Well, like I said, this controversy is not dying and didn't. So RFK Jr. and some of the men who are working with him at various jobs at HHS did an interview the other day with Brett Baer. And say what you want to about Brett Baer, but won't be here. Okay, sorry, I was reading something and I just got distracted about that, folks. TBA says, did Casey Means fake her MD or fake her PhD? I don't think her credentials are fake. I think she might be a little flaky, but I don't think her credentials are fake. Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, let me get to this clip because I'm starting to wind into my point here, okay? Hang on one second. Sorry about that, folks. So, Brett Baer of Fox News asks Kennedy about this, okay? I will give you the clip. This runs about 2 minutes. I'll stop it where I think I need to, but I think you guys are going to want to hear this because there's a larger point here, and it's going to be addressed momentarily. And with that, here is the clip of Brett Baer asking RFK Jr. about this.
On my watch. The Surgeon General nominee was supposed to be a hearing today on Capitol Hill. Dr. Neshwat was pulled. She's heading here to the HHS. What happened with all that?
What happened with her withdrawal? We talked to Dr. Neshwat. We're going to put her at a very good place here at HHS. Casey Means, we felt, was the best person to really bring the vision of MAHA to the American public. She has this unique capacity to articulate it. She's written a book that really mobilized, galvanized the movement. She is an extraordinary. She is excellence in everything that she's ever endeavored.
Obviously, she's come under her own criticism about some of the things she's advocated for. She never finished her residency, and she doesn't currently have an active medical license. That's not.
She was the very top of her medical class at Stanford. She's during her residency, she won every award that she could win. She walked away from traditional medicine because she was not curing patients. She couldn't get anybody within her profession to look at the nutrition contributions to illness. And she said, if we're really going to heal people, if we're healers, we can't just be making our life about building new procedures. We actually have to figure out new approaches to medicine. And that's the kind of leadership that she's going to bring to our country.
And last thing on this, your former running mate weighed in today saying that she wasn't happy about this and said that you're somehow being controlled. Your decisions are being controlled. That's what she posted.
Listen, you guys sitting here, 4 people who were all canceled during COVID.
Yeah, that's right.
these people are, you've got the entire leadership of this agency is renegades who are juggernauts against convention and who are trying to look for truth no matter what the cost.
So nobody's controlling your
Casey
decision.
is among those.
Okay, that's his statement on it. Now, like I say, normally, yeah, that's for sure. That's for daggone sure. I totally agree with that. Like I say, normally I stay out of this kind of a food fight. I really do. I do my best to stay out of this because in one sense, I don't think it serves any useful purpose. Except that, I think this whole Casey Means for Surgeon General controversy is pointing to something else that a lot of us have been worrying about with the second Trump administration. And TBA asked the question, I thought Casey Means was an anti-Trumper. Hold that. Well, that is one of Laura Loomer's criticisms. And and I recommend you go out and look at her Twitter page. If you're wanting to get the other side of this, she says she's got the receipts proving that not only Casey Means, but Callie Means are both anti-Trumpers. So I recommend you take a look at Laura Loomer's Twitter page on this if you've got the ability. Okay. But that is one of the charges that Loomer lays at the feet of Casey Means. But when I say that this whole food fight points to something bigger and a bigger problem inside the Trump administration, here's what I'm getting at. Okay. And I want to use another example to kind of make this point. Okay. This week, and I know you guys have probably heard about this, Ed Martin, who is about as MAGA gets. Okay. This guy is, a East Trump supporter, 100% through and through. And on top of that is a brilliant attorney. Okay. So Trump appointed him as interim U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. And Ed went straight to work. Crime in the district is now down by 25%. Okay. And he was pending a vote in the Judiciary Committee and then, take the full nomination to the Senate. Senate confirms him as the U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. Right. Well, at the 11th hour before this vote was to be taken, Tom Tillis, the senator from North Carolina, a Republican, by the way, or of course I would say Republican in name only, but we'll get to that momentarily. He announces that he's not going to support Ed Martin for U.S. attorney for the District of Columbia. And he gave his reasons, which I'm not necessarily going to get into that. Although I will say this, I think Tom Tillis right now is dead man walking in North Carolina. Somebody is going to primary Tom Tillis over this. And they should. Tillis is useless. Okay? He's useless. There's about a handful of Republicans up there that I don't think they're worth the gum on the bottom of some of my shoes, okay? Tillis is one of them. Cornyn out of Texas is another one. And as bad as I hate to say this, Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia, I don't think she's that effective. I mean, if we're just talking about, the mechanics of being a senator, okay, she might be, but past that, I really have no use for her. There's nothing in that woman that strikes me as like a good leader. Okay. Might be a nice person, and I'm not saying she's not. Don't get me wrong. I had the occasion of meeting her a long time ago. She would never remember it. It was just that she's just that, she wouldn't remember me, and I do remember it. She's an otherwise nice person, but I don't think she's that good. TBA says Capito out of West Virginia is still a rhino. Yeah, I agree. But anyway, going back to Tillis. So Tillis announces that he's not going to he's not going to vote for Ed Martin for the nomination. And if this were just the straight floor vote, wouldn't necessarily be an issue. You'd still have a majority of Republicans that would vote for him anyway. In the Judiciary Committee, however, the defection of Tom Tillis caused the nomination to be more or less dead. Well, Trump does the following. And I'm gonna show you the Truth Social that he put out. Okay. Ed Martin has done, let's see, let me read this here. Ed Martin has done an amazing job as interim U.S. attorney. Will be moving to the Department of Justice as the new director of the Weaponization Working Group, Associate Deputy Attorney General, and Pardon Attorney. In these important roles, Ed will make sure we finally investigate the weaponization of our government under the Biden regime and provide much-needed justice for its victims. Congratulations. I got a problem with this. And the problem is real simple. Trump got rolled. He let himself be rolled. Now, I'm sorry. You guys know me. I'm a supporter of Donald Trump, but I got to call it like I said. He got rolled. He let himself be rolled. You know, other people have made this point, Rich Barris being one of them, and I totally agree with it. When was the last time you saw Barack Obama get rolled on a nomination? No, if one of his nominees was running into trouble, Barack Obama got on the phone, called up somebody, and said, hey, I'm going to make your life an unmitigated living hell unless you vote for this guy. Well, guess what? The problem disappeared. Now, you can say Obama was right or wrong or whatever else, but he exercised the power of the presidency and he leaned on somebody. Okay? If Ed Martin is as good as Trump says he is, and I'm not saying well, yay or nay, and you want him here, pick up the phone and make Tillis bend on this one. Okay? But instead, they let the nomination be pulled in favor of somebody who most everybody knows or knows of, okay? Jeanine Pirro. Okay? Hang on. Wrong tweet, wrong truth. Is that what I'm looking for? I believe so. Get over there. There we go. That's it. And now, it's more like it. So Jeanine Pirro is going to be named as the interim U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. Now, TBA is disagreeing with me on this. He says Trump never gets rolled. It might look like he was rolled, but no. WWG wants so many tabs, so little time. Exactly, my friend. Exactly. TBA, I love you, but we're going to agree to disagree on this one. I say he got rolled. Okay. And by the way, there's something that Trump said when they pulled Ed Martin's nomination. And this is where I think the trouble is starting to happen. Okay. Give me 1 second here, folks. Let me know if you guys can hear this, and I'll stop it when I think I need to. But do me a favor and check this out.
But he's a terrific person, and he wasn't getting the support from people that I thought. You know, he's done a very good job. Crime is down 25% in D.C. During his period of time. I'm very disappointed in that, but I have so many different things that I'm doing now with the trade. You know, I'm one person. I can only make boom, I can only lift that little phone so many times in a day. But we have somebody else that will be great.
Okay, that's one clip I want you guys to hear. Yeah, I got so many other things going on right now, yada, yada, yada. All right, okay, fine. Well, that may be the case, but there is one other point to be made here, okay? And it's this, and I think it needs to be shared and said. Do me a favor, one more time, take a listen to this.
Senator Tillis has come out against Ed Martin as U.S. Attorney. Do you have any response to that?
Well, it's disappointing because, I know Eddie's very talented.
Whoops. Come on. Don't do this to me, not now.
Crime is down in Washington, D.C. Street crime, violent crime by 25%. And it's people have seen, they've noticed a big difference. So I didn't know that. But if anybody voted against him, I feel very badly about it, only in the sense that in this short period of time that he's been there, crime is down 25% in Washington, D.C. But that's really up to the senator.
I didn't know that? Wait a minute. What do you mean you didn't know that? Now, here's the worry that I've got, and here is the problem. And I want to go back to a couple of things that were said previously to bring this up. Gypsy says there are hundreds of talking about Casey Means, hundreds of qualified and reputable people to be Surgeon General, yet only creeps get picked. It's weird AF. The outlook is not brilliant. Okay. Here's my problem with what's going on here. Okay. I'm getting the distinct impression, and again, I could be very wrong. I could be very wrong indeed, and fine if I am. I will come back. You guys know me. I will come back and always tell you, hey, I screwed this one up. Okay. I'll be the first one to admit it. My problem here is I'm getting the distinct feeling that Donald Trump is kind of being roped off a little bit. There's a certain breakdown somewhere between here's Trump, here's what I want to do, and then over here's the personnel that get assigned to do the job that Donald Trump wants done. There is some kind of a breakdown in the vetting process for these nominees. There's some kind of a breakdown somewhere in the communication about these nominees, either internally in the White House or externally to the public. Okay? I think these two different episodes, the Dr. Casey Means for Surgeon General and Ed Martin for U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, these two episodes point out something that I think is absolutely happening. And frankly, it's kind of scary, and it's also something of a repeat of the first administration. Trump has an idea in his head about the things that he wants to get done. Okay? He wants a person to do X, Y, and Z. He winds up getting a person who does, D, E, and F. These two things don't go together. Okay? Here's Trump's stated desires. Here's the person doing the job and the results they're creating, and these two things don't mesh together, and the base is looking at this going, did we vote for this? What? Huh? Yeah. Well, I'm not going to go so far as to say Trump doesn't give a bleep, but I understand where you're coming from. If let me find your comment from earlier, dear, because if this is true, here it is. If Laura Loomer took this information that she's got about Casey Means and Callie Means and showed it directly to Trump, okay, Trump does have a valid point. I've only got X number of hours in the day. There's only so many times I can pick up the phone and call somebody. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. I get it. Okay. But that also begs the other question. What are the people around Trump who are supposed to be involved in this process? What the heck are they doing? If a Laura Loomer, and granted, Loomer sometimes is her own worst enemy. Okay, I grant you that. All right. But if Laura Loomer brought this information to the White House out of genuine concern for the agenda of Donald Trump and for Trump's presidency and presented it to people inside the White House who're supposed to be working on behalf of Donald Trump's agenda and Donald Trump and got nowhere with it, what does that say about the people working for Trump? I just think that, this whole thing about Casey Means and Ed Martin is just proof that of the disconnect inside the White House, especially when it comes to personnel. Now, does any administration get it absolutely right? No. There are going to be people picked for certain jobs that either are not the best person for that job, or, they're not, try as they might, they're not, getting the job done in terms of the expectations that are set. Okay, I understand that. But it just seems to me it's like a constant, blatant, over and over and over and over thing inside the Trump administration, first term and the second term. This stuff is happening. And it just makes it, and again, I agree with the Duke on this one. The outlook is not bright. I mean, if this is what we're going to be constantly getting, yeah, I'd be a little bit worried about this too. I'd be very worried about it. And again, you guys know me. If I'm wrong, I'll tell you. TBA says, you don't think there could be anything happening under the surface, Brian? Well, that's just it. There might be stuff going on that I don't know about and I'll never know about, and that's probably the case. Regardless of whether it's, watching politics in D.C. or whether whatever it is in life, there are things that are happening that I don't know about. It could very well be all this works out just fine. Okay. But I got to admit, on the upfront, watching this, it's a little bit disconcerting. I am all for, I'm all for giving my trust on some things political. Okay. I get it, because I don't have all the information and I don't have, all the inside baseball of what's going on here. So it could, to your point, it could very well be there is something happening under the surface. But I hope whatever that is, we find out real quick, because this is a little bit worrisome. And again, it's not a worry that's new. People have had this worry back even during the campaign. They ask themselves, well, if this guy if we elect him again, does he really learn anything? Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, it could be. TBA says, if Casey and Callie Means are bad ones, we'll find out soon enough. Let's hope so. Let us hope so. All right. It is the top of the hour. It's a little bit past 12 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and we are cruising right along, albeit every so often with a hiccup in the engine, for this live stream. And if you've managed to find your way here, welcome to Front Porch Brunch. This is a live stream that I do on the weekends, talking about the news, giving you guys a chance to give your views. And boy, are you giving your views today. Over on Rumble, over on Twitter, you guys are absolutely chiming in. Every comment is appreciated. Everything you guys do is absolutely fantastic. So, with that in mind, do me a favor. If you're not a subscriber to this channel of mine, please subscribe to me on YouTube and on Rumble. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, hit the thumbs up today. Every last stinking one of you that's watching this live stream, hit that daggone thumbs up, doggone it. It'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, Hit the bell for notifications. I want to make sure you're always aware when new stuff is coming out. And let's keep on cooking. And with that, we will switch topics. And congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Trump got himself a trade deal. So, now, in light of everything that's happened this week, this may not be the biggest piece of news that people are thinking about. Because on the day this went down, a new pontiff was selected, which we'll get into a discussion about that a little bit later in the HodgePodge stew section of the show. But Trump got his first trade deal, and he got it with the UK. And I think this is going to wind up being proof in the long run. I could be wrong about this, but I don't think I am. I think this is going to wind up being proof that Trump's tariff policy is going to wind up getting the U.S. some good things in the long run. WWG1 says, I think what TBA is saying is that there is an overall plan in place that transcends politics. Okay, fair point. Fair point. And TBA also says, are the Chinese coming to the trade deal table? Funny you should ask that question, TBA, because yes, according to reports this weekend, I shouldn't say reports this weekend, the reports came out last week that this weekend, the Chinese and U.S. trade delegations are meeting in Switzerland. And apparently, the U.S. delegation is being led by the Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. And I tell you what, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, I like that man's style. I really do. He strikes me as one of those kind of folks in life that doesn't get too perturbed about anything. And if he does, it would take a lot to get him wound up. Now, friends of mine know for years how to push my buttons, and they do it with love, and they also do it for amusement. So it's always understood. But people who know me, I can get pretty excited about stuff. Bessent strikes me as one of those kind of guys. You'd have to light a case of dynamite off under Scott Bessent's rear end to get him excited about something. And even then, I don't think he'd get too upset. He's just very smooth, very polished, answers his questions matter of fact. Yeah, TBA over on Rumble says Bessent's is a cool cat for sure. Yeah, nothing seems to faze this guy. Now, maybe behind closed doors, that's a whole different story. But I tell you what, if I've got to grade certain of Trump's cabinet choices, I tell you what, Scott Bessent at Treasury is absolutely fantastic. Okay, I love the way this guy operates. I really do, and I never thought I'd ever say that about Treasury Secretary. Don't get me wrong; they serve a very important function, but normally you don't think of the Treasury Secretary as being like the cool kid in the room. Bessent is one cool kid. TBA, I saw that. We're going to get to that. Brother. Hold that thought. I saw you. See, this is why Fedora Nation is one of the best audiences on the internet. We may be a small audience, all things considered, but daggone, if we are not right on top of it. But we'll get to that, brother. Don't worry. It's coming. It's coming. So Trump's got his first trade deal, and we're going to take a quick look at it for a moment. This is from CNBC News. Trump unveils United Kingdom trade deal first since reciprocal tariff pause. Article written by Kevin Brianger, probably the best way to pronounce that. Dateline, Washington, D.C. President Donald Trump on Thursday unveiled the broad outline of a trade agreement with the United Kingdom. The deal is the first by the United States with a country whose imports were subject to new tariffs imposed by Trump in early April. The U.S. has trade goods surplus with the UK. Many specifics about the deal were not immediately clear, but nothing was signed by the Oval Office event. Quote, the final details are being written up. In the coming weeks, we'll have it all very conclusive. He said that the deal includes billions of dollars of increased market access for U.S. exports, and the UK will reduce or eliminate numerous non-tariff barriers that unfairly discriminated against American products. A fact sheet from the White House said that the trade deal will include the following: keeping in place a 10% blanket U.S. tariff on U.K. imports, adjust tariffs on UK autos so that the first 100,000 vehicles imported from the UK each year are subject to a 10% rate. Additional vehicles face a 25% rate. Creates a $5 billion opportunity for new exports for U.S. farmers, ranchers, and producers, including more than $700 million in ethanol exports and $250 million in American beef and other agricultural products. Commits both countries to working together to enhance industrial agricultural access, close loopholes and increase U.S. firm competitiveness in the UK procurement market, streamline the custom process, establish commitments on intellectual property, secure the supply chain of U.S. aerospace manufacturers through preferential access to high-quality UK aerospace components, require a supply chain of pharmaceutical products, now that could be huge, and require the U.S. to negotiate an alternative arrangement to Section 232 steel tariffs on steel and aluminum and create a trade union for steel and aluminum. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who joined Trump remotely, said, "We built an incredible platform for the future." So, Trump's got himself a trade deal. And you know what? Congratulations all the way around. Well, good morning, Dave. Glad to see you, sir. CNBC is trash golas on steroids. I grant you that. I grant you. I'm glad to have you in the house, brother. Always good to see you here, and a fist bump in your general direction. Uh-oh. Ooh, WWG1, I just saw that post. Hang on a minute, folks. I'm not trying to tease you guys, but this kind of relates to a story that I'm gonna get into here in a minute. Hang on a minute, folks. I gotta see what this is exactly. Okay. Okay, WWG1, thank you for that, and I will be using that momentarily. So we'll get back to that. So Trump's got himself a trade deal. Sorry about that, folks, because like I said, that was sort of related to a story we're going to get into here shortly. Trump's got himself a trade deal, and the U.S. is happy with it. British seem very happy with it. I've got an article here from the BBC, and they're thinking, hey, this might be, future stuff that we can do together. 1 second, folks. I'm still getting used to this new system of doing things. It kind of runs me crazy. Anyway, from the BBC, trade deal platform is platform for going further, says Mandelson. Lord Mandelson also has hailed this week's U.S.-UK trade deal as, quote, a platform for going further and opening up more trade opportunities in his first interview since taking up his role as UK's ambassador to the United States. The deal has reduced or removed tariffs that were recently imposed by President Donald Trump on some of the nation's imports from the UK, including cars, steel, and aluminum. Former New Labour cabinet member Lord Mandelson has played a crucial role in the negotiations between the two nations since he started his job in February. Okay, the British are happy about it. The Americans seem happy about it. We'll see how all this plays out. Now, to be fair, there is one group above all else that is most certainly not happy with Trump about this. And interestingly enough, it's a group of people that have been supporting Trump quite heavily. So we'll see how all this shakes out. And that is, it looks like the American auto industry ain't happy about it. I got a story here from Reuters. Detroit 3 automakers blast Trump UK trade deal. Article written by David Shepherdson and Kayla Hall. We've got the following. Dateline, Detroit, Michigan. A group representing General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, or Chrysler as I recall the name, blast President Trump's trade deal announced with the UK, saying it would harm the U.S. auto sector. Quote, Under this deal, it will now be cheaper to import a UK vehicle with very little US content than a USMCA compliant vehicle from Mexico or Canada that is half US American parts. The American Automotive Policy Council, which represents the Detroit 3 automakers, said on Thursday, this hurts American automakers, suppliers, and auto workers. The U.S. automakers are concerned that this could be a template for other agreements that could put vehicles they assemble in Canada or Mexico at a disadvantage. Well, I kind of expected them to come out with this reaction. They may be jumping the gun, however. I could be wrong. We'll see what happens here. But like I say, I think they could be jumping the gun. But yeah, we'll see. We will see. So, does this lead to future deals? I don't know. I hope so. Oh, yes, I did see that. That is a good thing. That is a very good thing, my friend. Very good thing indeed. All right. Let us shift gears, or maybe better to say, move to a different compartment of the train. And we will go into now what is called the HodgePodge stew section of Front Porch Brunch. Now, again, for those of you who are watching this for the first time, or maybe you're unfamiliar with some of the things we do during this live stream, HodgePodge stew is that section of the show where we talk about a smattering of stories from around the internet that, maybe haven't gotten the most play that they should, but they're important enough they ought to be talked about. Well, as we were coming on the air this morning, news broke about one of the biggest conflicts going on in the world right now. And no, I'm not talking about Ukraine, Russia, and I'm not talking about Israel and the Middle East. No, I'm talking about one of the biggest conflicts with two nuclear powers that are currently militarily engaged with each other, and that is India and Pakistan. And I've got a story here from the UK Telegraph, and this is a repeat of a Truth Social post that Donald Trump put out. According to this headline, and this was from a few hours ago, India and Pakistan have agreed to a full ceasefire. Now, the conflict's been going on with them now for the past few days. They've been launching artillery back and forth each other across their borders. But according to Donald Trump, India and Pakistan have agreed to a full ceasefire. Let's take a look at this article. Written by... Do we have an author on this? Apparently not. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced a full and immediate ceasefire between India and Pakistan with a post on his Truth Social network. Mr. Trump wrote, after a long night of talks mediated by the United States, I am pleased to announce that India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire. Congratulations to both countries on using common sense and great intelligence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Okay. So that was from a few hours ago. Well, the reason that I kind of paused a moment or two ago with regard to what I was talking about, WWG1 brought me a piece of news, and it looks like this ceasefire may not be holding up well at all right now. I've got a story. This is an update from the UK Telegraph, and I'll show it to you guys. Unconfirmed reports across cross-border shelling and drone attacks in Kashmir have emerged, despite India and Pakistan earlier agreeing to a ceasefire. Blasts were heard and projectiles seen in the sky above the city of Jammu in Indian Kashmir, witnesses told Reuters news agency. Satish Shamar, a minister in the Jammu and Kashmir government, wrote on social media, heavy firing at border, please stay safe. Jahi Hind, he added, which is the battle cry that translates victory to India. The Indian TV9 network reported that the Border Security Force had been given the green light to give a strong response to what it said was Pakistani ceasefire violation across international border in Jammu and Kashmir. So, okay, hopefully this ceasefire sticks, but we will see what happens. We'll see what happens. So I want to thank WWG1 for bringing that out. Take it with a grain of salt, maybe. I agree with you. I agree. Let's take that one with a definite grain of salt. I think the ceasefire might still yet wind up holding, but we got to get everybody to kind of straighten up and play nice. All right. Give me 1 second here, folks, because I'm pulling up something that I had not necessarily planned to talk about, but definitely we ought to mention per the request of the Duke. And Biden on The View. So I gotta play you some clips here. What? Stop it. Not ready for you yet. I saw a comment earlier from Gypsy, and she said that she hadn't given Joe Biden a bit of thought ever since January 20th. Agreed. Wait a minute, what's this? Have I seen the Indian and Pakistani border guard emerge in dance-offs? God admits, I think I have. I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, this is interesting stuff. So Gypsy made the comment earlier in chat that she hadn't given Biden a second thought ever since January 20th. And by and large, I agree with that. He's gone. He's off the stage. The only thought that I give to Joe Biden is all the damage that he did in 4 years. Or maybe it's better to say damage that his people did in 4 years, because I don't think Joe Biden knew where he was at most of the time. But ever since January 20th, Joe Biden's had a very big problem. And that is, man, I'm the former president of the United States. What do I do? Now, you would think that a person like Joe Biden, after all these years, wouldn't really have to do anything. I mean, the man's 81 years old, okay? You've been in politics 50 years in America. Just go to the beach and just enjoy yourself. Well, apparently he can't, okay? He can't. He cannot do it. So he goes on The View. And now let's be honest. The ladies of The View are not exactly, when you're thinking of putting up statues to great journalists, the ladies from The View definitely do not come to mind. That said, however, some of them asked some fairly good questions. And I per the request of the Duke, I will play you a couple of these. Because if Joe Biden is going out there trying to convince people, hey, I'm still Joe Biden and I've got it going on here, he ain't helping his cause, okay? So I'm going to play you a clip. And let me tell you something. Joe is not helping himself here, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy this as much as I do. And as always, let me know if we got any technical issues. Check this out.
Mr. President, since you left office, there have been a number of books that have come out deeply sourced from Democratic sources that claim in your final year there was a dramatic decline in your cognitive abilities. In the final year of your presidency, what is your response to these allegations, or are these sources wrong?
Okay, that's a question that is, before I finish playing this, just hang on a second. That is a question that is about to haunt, and I mean haunt, Joe Biden and the Democrat Party for probably the next 2 or 3 months. And the reason that I say that is there are a couple of 3 books that are getting ready to come out. One of them is coming out next week. That is I believe, co-authored by Jake Tapper of CNN, and I want to say the other one is I want to say it's Jake Sherman over at Punchbowl News. And again, I have not seen the book. I haven't seen the excerpts yet. But in that book, apparently they ripped Joe Biden and the White House staff a new one. Talking about and they use the words cover-up. Okay? A cover-up of Joe Biden's cognitive decline, which culminated in his disastrous debate performance against Donald Trump in June of 2024. Okay? So this question that's being asked of him on The View is he's going to get this everywhere you turn. All right? That said, watch how he responds to this and listen to what he says.
You are wrong. There's nothing to sustain that.
His head is down. He's not looking her in the eyes. He's not addressing her directly. He's looking off to the side, trying to find an answer. Listen to this rest of this.
Number one. Number two, think of what we were left with. We were left with a circumstance where we had an insurrection when I started. Not since the Civil War.
It was not an insurrection, sir. It never was an insurrection. No one was armed and no one tried to take over the government of the United States. You can cut that crap out right now. I don't care if you're out of office or not, but I'm not putting up with that garbage. But notice also what he's doing. He's deflecting. Look at the mess I inherited. I inherited an insurrection, which it wasn't. I inherited this. Listen to him.
We had a circumstance where we were in a position that the pandemic, because of the incompetence of the last outfit.
Again, he's blaming everybody else. He's not answering this question directly.
End up over 1 million people dying. And we're also in a situation where we found ourselves unable to deal with a lot of just basic issues, and which I won't go into in the interest of time. And so we went to work, and we got it done. And one of the things and
Alyssa, one of the
Now watch what just happened. He starts to falter, and Jill immediately jumps in to bail him out. He's searching for an answer. He can't give one, and Jill realizes this. She just jumped right in.
things I think is that the people who wrote those books were not in the White House with us, and they didn't see how hard Joe worked every single day.
Yeah, I'm sure he worked very hard every day trying to stay awake. I mean, my God, the amount of sleep that man was getting was extraordinary.
I mean, he'd get up, he'd put in a full day, and then at night I'd be in bed, reading my book, and he was still on the phone reading his briefings, just working with staff. I mean, it was nonstop. It's the White House. Being president is not like a job. It's a lifestyle. It's a life that you live. You live it 24 hours a day. That phone can ring at 11 o'clock at night or 2 in the morning. It's constant. You never leave it. And Joe worked really hard. I think he was a great president. And if you look at things today, give me Joe Biden anytime.
That's worth the invitation to come to the show.
Folks, I'm just telling you, what you're watching here is going to absolutely haunt not just Biden, but the Democrat Party for the days and weeks ahead when these books come out. And again, I don't know what's in them, but if what is being previewed is true, that these are some fairly scathing exposés on the inside workings of the White House, then the Democrat Party has the Democrat Party right now is a shambles. Okay, it's an absolute shambles. It's a shambles politically, from a intellectual standpoint. It's a shambles in terms of operational standpoint. There is nothing about the Democrat Party right now that is making people want to say, hey, I want to be a Democrat. These guys are cool. This is not going to help that situation. Okay? This is going to remind everybody why they don't want to be associated with the Democrat Party. It will. You watch. They are absolutely going to take this. I'm telling you right now, this stuff is going to come back and absolutely haunt the Democrats. Okay? It will. Hang on, I got one more clip. One more clip to play for you here. And yeah, this is Joy Behar and Joe Biden together. Yeah. What a combination. Sheesh. Give me 1 second here, folks. Yeah, this is the one I'm looking for. Folks, I agree with the person who posted this. If Joe Biden's trying to prove to everybody that he's still got it together, this is not helping matters. Check this out.
The projects, the benefits. How do you lead the world without having the best infrastructure in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best healthcare in the world? How do you lead the world without having the best education system in the world? How do you lead the world when you don't have that done?
Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed. Oh yeah, yeah. Joe and Jill went up the hill to fetch his fallen out marbles. Now that's a really good point. That's a really good point. It is kind of insulting. It really is. Yeah. Oh yeah. And from what I understand, and again, take it for what it's worth. I mean, this comes from Mark Halperin. Democrats are not happy about what Joe and Jill are doing here. They really aren't. They're kind of pissed. Because it's like, will you two shut up and just go away? We're trying to put this party back together for the mess you guys made of it, and you're not helping matters. And I could agree with that. If I were a Democrat right now, I'd want Joe Biden to just go off to the retirement home that you got yourself in there, Wilmington, Delaware, sit on the beach, eat ice cream, do whatever it is you want to do. Just shut up. Don't talk to people. Just, oh my God. Terrible. All right. That was for the Duke. And Duke, I hope as a listener, we made you happy. All right. Did you guys hear about the mayor of New Jersey that got himself arrested the other night? Yeah, there's a mayor in Newark, New Jersey, got himself arrested. You want to know why? Oh, this is going to crack y'all up. This is absolutely going to crack y'all up. Well, all right. There you see. We always try here on the Electronic Front Porch to benefit you, our listeners. And if you give us a request, if it's in our power to do it, we always will try to help. Ah, you did see the story this morning. Well, check this out. This is going to, and I've got a point to make about this. Check this out. Headline: Newark mayor arrested as Dem congressional members storm New Jersey ICE prison to conduct oversight visit. ICE's Delaney Hall in Newark, New Jersey, is currently holding alleged killers, MS-13 gang members, child rapists, and more. Article by Luis Cassiano and Bill Malugan of Fox News. We got the following. Dateline, Newark, New Jersey. The mayor of Newark, New Jersey was arrested Friday at a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement detention facility, where 3 members of Congress also stormed the facility's gates, demanding they be allowed to conduct, quote, an oversight visit. Newark Mayor Ras Baraka, a top Democrat gubernatorial candidate, was arrested at the scene for trespassing before being released hours later. Quote, they treated me pretty well, so a lot of respect for those guys in there. But at the end of the day, we didn't do anything wrong. This should not have happened today, but it did. And it's just an example of, the work we have to do. And I guess here's a picture of the mayor. Earlier, a crowd, including several lawmakers, gathered outside the HSI Newark field office where Baraka was being held Friday morning. The group chanted, yelled, and banged on the gate, calling for Baraka's release. During his brief detention, several politicians joined the growing calls for Baraka to be released. Senator Cory Booker, Democrat in New Jersey, described Baraka's arrest as a disturbing and unnecessary, and adding, indicative of tactics that are undermine the safety and security of our communities and not adding to it. New Jersey Governor Phil Murphy, also a Democrat, said he was outraged by the unjust arrest, and he noted that he had signed a law 4 years ago that banned private immigration detention centers in the state. Last week, the state defended the law before federal appeals court. Democrat Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson called Baraka a friend and encouraged him to fight for change in his community. Meanwhile, Bob Hugin, chairman of the New Jersey Republican Party, called Baraka's actions a stunt, noting he had ignored repeated warnings from authorities. He's not a mayor, he's running for governor, and this stunt shows exactly what kind of leader he'd be, one that puts political theater ahead of public safety and the rule of law. So I have a question. I have a very serious question. Are we going to arrest these Democrat congressmen who stormed this ICE facility? Or maybe here's a better way of putting it. Insurrection! They're committing an insurrection! Well, I'm serious. Look, how many J6ers who simply walked into the Capitol, they did not commit vandalism. They did not physically hurt anyone. They just simply walked around. Okay? Were accused of insurrection against the government of the United States and consequently locked up, in some cases in conditions I don't even want to think about. Okay? Well, if no, and remember, it's the Democrats who kept reminding everybody nobody is above the law. So how soon before these 3 Democrat congressmen who were there for their oversight visit, who stormed through the gates, how soon before they get locked up? Hey, Alina Habba, you're supposed to be the U.S. attorney for New Jersey. Are you going to bring charges against these jokers? I'm serious. Hey, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. Let them have it. Let them have it. I mean, Democrats had no problem locking up people at J6. Hey, you guys stormed the gates of a federal facility in violation. Let them have it. Let them have it. So there you go. Well, thank you, Pate, with the super chat for $4.99. Lock them up. Hey, y'all did this. Remember what you did to all the January 6 people? I say give you a taste of your own medicine. And by the way, it would be justified. Remember, nobody's above the law. You stormed a federal facility in violation of orders not to do it. The guards told you, no, you do not have access to this. We're not letting you in. So, hey, give you a taste of your own medicine. At least I think so. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Let them have it. Let them have it. Going back to the Biden story, WWG1 says, I do more before 9 a.m. than he did during his entire presidency. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. All right. What else do we have here? What else do we have here? Oh. We mentioned Ed Martin a little while ago. Did you guys see what happened to him the other day out in front of Trump Tower? That poor man got spit on. Yeah. If you haven't seen this, check this out. Okay? Watch this. So he's standing there giving an interview to somebody from Newsmax TV. Now watch what happens next.
And so we need to get really focused. How you doing? Oh, whoa.
You are a disgusting man.
She spat on him and walked off. Yeah, and we're the ones that are intolerant and lacking of compassion. Going back to that previous story, the DC Gulag wouldn't let Gates and MTG visit the Gen 6. Yeah. Yeah, well, true. Fair point. Fair point. Yeah, but Matt Gaetz and MTG didn't rush the doors. Just some conversation. So Ed Martin gets spat upon by this woman, right? Well, folks, it may very well be that justice is being served at this time because, according to Ed Martin, this woman who spat upon him confirmed that this woman has been found and she has been arrested. She was identified by U.S. Marshals and arrested under 18 U.S. Code 111. So we'll see what happens with that, but I think this one kind of falls under she effed around and find out. Good point, Patty. The dog should be walking that gross she animal. There you go. So, yeah. Apparently this lady has been found. They found out who she was. According to Ed Martin, she's been arrested, and she might be going to the Hooskow. WWG1 says, spitting on someone is an assault. It is an assault. They aren't playing around anymore. This isn't the Biden presidency. Yeah, I agree with you there. Robert's like, hey, Senator Gitmo. Wait a minute. Are you serious about this? Okay. Now I see what you're getting at. The fact that she used spit. Yeah, okay. It's a baseball joke, folks. Gaylord Perry was notorious for using a spitball. Sorry about that, Duke. That almost got past me, but that is funny. That's funny. Oh my goodness. Indeed. All right. What else do we have in the way of HodgePodge do? Oh, by the way. Forgive me if I rub my hands together with glee, but going back to the lady that spat on Ed Martin, WWG1 says, I thought we were talking about Haktua girl there for a minute. No, Haktua girl, I don't think we're going to get heard from anytime soon, brother. Little Miss Haktua, she got her own set of problems. Woo! Yikes. Letitia James, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's favorite attorney general in the state of New York. Y'all have heard the expression, what comes around? Well, yeah, what goes around comes around. Well, She went after Donald Trump for Mar-a-Lago, all of his real estate fraud that she said he committed, yada, 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 and all that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Letitia is in deep doo-doo. For those of you who have not heard about this yet, settle in, because this one's going to be pretty good. Letitia apparently has a grand jury impaneled against her right now. This is, oh boy, this is a big problem for, the big L. Check this out.
Reach out yesterday to Letitia James's spokesperson. And when these allegations first came to light, they did provide a prompt response alleging there was a weaponization of the justice system, some type of political payback. This time, though, her spokesperson has not responded to our requests for a comment. Back to you.
Well, we'll wait for that. Lana Austin, thank you for joining us live there. We do appreciate that. I want to bring in now Amy Robbins. She is here with us on the set. She is the host of the Amy Robbins Show. Amy, good to see you on set. How are you?
Great to see you guys too. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we've covered the civil Trump suit, the trial that went on forever. There were so many, by the way, to keep tally of all the lawfare that we've seen. And now you have this full circle moment of what the AG accused and charged the president, Donald Trump, of. Now she is being indicted by a grand jury, or at least we're seeing subpoenas issued by a grand jury now on the very same charges. What are the odds of that?
It's just irony all around. And I can't help but laugh at where we find ourselves now, because you're sitting here saying, this is somebody who ran in 2018 on making promises that she was going to take down Donald Trump. And I don't know if these people just continue to think that they are above the law and that what they do is just never going to get found out. But this should be a really big wake-up call to any other Democrats who have some skeletons in their closet that someone's coming from you and it's going to be found out. Totally agree. She really did.
Yeah. And from what I understand, and I haven't delved into this as deeply as I should, but from what I understand, if a prosecutor wanted to bring a case against Letitia James, this is so open and shut. This is like, it will not take a jury very long to prove her of committing mortgage fraud. And basically, as I understand it, she bought a piece of property down in Virginia and listed that as her primary residence. Well, when she ran for Attorney General in New York, she got a problem, because if her primary residence is in Virginia, Constitution of the state of New York and election law says you have to be a legal resident of the state of New York. Well, which is it? So let's see what happens, But yeah, apparently there is a grand jury that is impaneled, and they are issuing subpoenas on the question of whether or not she committed mortgage fraud. So we'll see what happens. Yep, that's a pretty fair question. Who helped her do it? That's a very fair question. 21 to 24 was the F around portion. We are now in the FO era. Yep, I agree. I agree completely, ladies. All right, we're going to bring this train into the station. Thank you guys so much, as always, for being here for Front Porch Brunch. I'm going to get back on the trail, I promise. And I think I'm getting the technical bugs worked out. But we're going to get back on the trail with some videos this week. I'll be doing my live stream Wednesday night, the Wednesday night newsroom. And as always, you guys are awesome. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for the super chat. You guys are totally awesome on Rumble and on YouTube. So you guys have yourself a great weekend. We will be back next week. Have yourself some fun. And in the meanwhile, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." I love you guys. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next